Alright guys, the first thing that we're going to work on today is the spot healing brush. Get all this open for you. Alright, so you want to use the spot healing brush when you're trying just to clean up maybe some dark spots on a wall behind your subject, when you don't want to use the clone tool, or like in the case of the subject we have in front of us, we are going to be cleaning up the wrinkles around her eyes. She actually does not have these wrinkles. The lens just was very good at pulling out every single wrinkle and making it look a lot more prominent and apparent than it needed to. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with the Spot Healing Brush Tool. If you look over on the left-hand side, you will go to where your Band-Aid is. So you've got the Healing Brush Tool, and you click underneath, and we've got the Spot Healing Brush Tool. I prefer, it kind of depends. Sometimes you just kind of got to play with it and look at it. I prefer the Spot Healing Brush Tool. But the one thing that you need to know about that is if you use the Spot Healing Brush Tool, first you need to go to your healing brush and you have to set it like you're cloning, where you're going to press like Option on Mac and I think it's Control on Windows. So you're just going to select that and select like her skin. Okay, so you see that right underneath the left eye to us, her right eye. So we selected it. I'm going to go ahead for the purposes of this example. I'm going to stay in the healing brush tool and not really go to the spot healing so much. I use spot healing more for if we've got acne, which we can kind of clear up on her face a little bit. So the very first thing that you want to do now that we've identified the tool that we want to use, where the tool is, and which of the possibilities that we have. You could do cloning. Cloning is going to be a little bit more rough for such an up-close picture of a subject. So the first thing after all of that, when we're actually going to start editing, go up to Layer at the top and Duplicate Layer. Never work on your original layer. Always, always duplicate your layer if possible. This kind of allows for you to be able to adjust the opacity. If you look down here on the right-hand side where your layers are, you've got background and background copy, which is the one we're going to be working on. You can always change that. Like I could call it Spot Healing Brush Layer. So if I ended up building layers, I can remember which one was which. Right above that is the opacity. We can lower it, bring it up, kind of to taste. But the problem is if you do all your work on the background, you can't do the opacity because it's going to pull the whole entire picture down and it's going to reveal your white canvas underneath. So let's go ahead and move forward now that we've got our duplicate layer. Let's sample the area. I'm just going to sample right underneath her eye because of the way that the light has fallen. It's coming from our right to her left. You see, kind of a little brighter on the right hand side. So for this side, I want to sample on the darker side since that's where the darker eye is going to be. We sample, Option or Control, and then just press dot. You could take and you could sweep it across, but you're going to kind of get that blurry look. If you look right underneath her eye, right in here, you've got a blurry look. So let's undo that. Now let's kind of just come along and fill in some wrinkles. Fill in the wrinkles. It's still going to look a little blurry, but that's where opacity is going to come in. Alright, so it looks like she's put concealer on. You could leave it for a small print, but for a large print, we want to bring down the opacity. Alright, so I'm going to turn my layer off to show you. See the wrinkles? No wrinkles. And you see a little bit down here, there's still a little bit of a ridge. So let's pull in and let's kind of fill all that in a little bit. We wanted to try to look as natural as possible. So I'm pulling let's turn it off. See the wrinkles? Let's turn it back on. See a little bit of the blur, but not too much. It's kind of helped pull down the wrinkles. So now look at the difference of the left eye, her right, our left. Look at the difference of the wrinkles there compared to the one on the right. A lot less pronounced. So let's look at the before, and there's the after. I mean, just that littlest bit has freshened her eyes up. So let's go on over here, and I'm going to go ahead and do a straight line across. Let me sample first. I'm just going to do a straight line. See? Sometimes it kind of works. Got a little bit darker, so we are going to fix that darkness. So we sample here, no light, and let's kind of pull it up in. Right. So let's turn it off. Wrinkles and darkness. Turn it on a little bit lighter. Still a little bit too dark. I'm not going to show you the step here of how I would fix that. I will show you that when we get to dodging and burning, which is going to be one of the next tutorials. I would want to use the dodging tool, which makes it lighter, and kind of just go along the eye where it's too dark. Because if I brought up the opacity, because I'm at 36%, if you look down here in the right-hand corner, if I brought up the opacity, I'm going to get this plastic, look. You can kind of leave it, but again, if you blow it up, it's going to look like she has swollen eyes. So let's pull it down. I can probably leave it. See, here's where I was about 38. That right eye is still pretty dark. So let me pull it up. Let's see how that looks. We don't want her to look too plastic. I could probably leave it right about there. Still a little darkness, may want to dodge it. But that's everything for the spot healing brush. If we want to use, or for the healing brush tool, I'm sorry, let's do the spot healing on her skin. So I'm going to go ahead and flatten. I'm completely happy with my layer, correct? So let's go ahead and layer in a flatten image and pull down the layers. All right, you see I only have one layer now. They're merged. Our eyes look good. So let's duplicate the layer. And let's go to spot heal. All right, you see right in here, she's got a little freckle, got a little acne. I'm not really too concerned about this up here. It's pretty pale. But these spots, I actually would typically leave for a little bit of character. We don't want her to look too plastic and too fake. Kind of depends on the look you're going for. But in the purposes of this class, I just want to show you how the spot heal tool works. So again, to sample, control or option, just like with your cloning. Now see, I'm glad it showed you this. Okay, it says the spot healing brush tool automatically samples pixel the correct spot with one step. To manually set this source, you have to use the healing brush tool. So we have two ways. We can either sample. We'd have to go back over a healing brush tool and sample. Or if you are in the spot healing brush tool, you don't have to sample at all. You just click it and it will find the area around it. We're going to get to content aware tool, but this kind of uses the content aware. I'm going to click here, and you saw that it was thinking. All right, I'm over here on her right cheek. Let's get for this freckle right here and just watch it. It kind of thinks for a second because it is pulling in the colors, and so we have a nice smooth finish. A little bit of acne here, kind of just clean it up. And then that is everything for that one.